If you're interested in checking out Zenless Zone Zero, then make sure you pre-register using the link in the description of this video, as well as in the first pinned comment. That way you can pre-register and hopefully get access to the game's beta. Hello everyone, Mikhail Casanova here. I am here to talk today about the Zenless Zone Zero beta, miHoYo's latest action game. If you're curious about whether or not Zenless Zone Zero is worth your time, and that is exactly what we're going to talk about, and I'm going to give you the skinny. And the TLDR is completely worth your time. All that being said, let's go ahead and talk about the Zenless Zone Zero closed beta. So ever since miHoYo announced Zenless Zone Zero, I've been keenly following its development. It's a fresh IP, distinct from hoyoverse's usual lineup like honkai and genshin, and it feels like a spiritual successor to their 2016 hit Honkai Impact 3rd. The game's retro-punk, urban fantasy vibe and its dynamic combat system immediately grabbed my attention. Having spent an entire day playing it, I can say miHoYo has hit the mark once again. Zenless Zone Zero setting might ring a bell for Honkai Star Rail fans. The game revolves around a big city suffering from monster-infested zones that wreak environmental havoc. However, this time around, you're not globetrotting, but rather controlling a pair of video store-owning siblings. These siblings, while also being vigilante fixers known as proxies, find themselves in a predicament that strips them of their infamous proxy Phaeton title, pushing them to start over and uncover the root cause of their troubles. This setup adds a fun twist to the typical miHoYo game start and feels more relaxed than their other games. These siblings aren't just heroes, they're community pillars, balancing their vigilante work with their social and professional lives, along with running a video store. The game can be categorized into three parts: overworld exploration and interaction, puzzle-focused dungeon crawling, and action-packed beat-em-ups. Exploring 6th Street involves socializing, shopping for your proxy missions, and even grabbing noodles for buffs. It's a nice change of pace, though the slow movement between shops can be a bit tedious. The dungeon crawling aspect is unique, akin to Crypto the Necrodancer, but without the rhythm element, featuring more intricate puzzles and a humorous hacking bunny. The missions start simply, but grow in complexity, making them a bit more engaging. The combat will feel familiar yet fresh to Genshin or Impact 3rd players. Characters have varied attack types and dodge mechanisms, and it's especially satisfying. And what's more, the game even slows down for cool animations when you execute a perfect dodge. The enemy variety keeps you alert while also using environmental hazards to your advantage as an extra strategic layer. Now let's talk about the cast, because they've got some very memorable characters like Billy, who's a gun-toting cyborg, Corin, who's a maid with a chainsaw spear, and Ben, who's a construction bear with a weaponized pillar. Zenless Zone Zero stands out with its distinct art style and character design, and its vibrant 6th Street could rival Persona 5 aesthetics. Now, I have to say, like, when I was playing this game, it absolutely looks fantastic. You know, think of it this way: Honkai Star Rail looks really good, Genshin Impact looks phenomenal as well, but them being put next to this, it's a night and day difference. This stands head and shoulders above what you would get in those titles. The other thing I want to talk about too is playing this game on your mobile device. Now, I have several ways of playing this game on my Android tablet. Now, I can use this GameSir GA Galileo controller, or I can use the controller that came with the Razer Edge, or even use a Bluetooth controller. And the thing about this is, once I went to the settings and switched it from touch input to controller, everything that you need to navigate within the menus can be done effectively fully through the controller, which means you now no longer have to go between using touch controls and the controller input. It's literally just use a controller or just use a touchscreen for everything that you need. I felt like I was playing like a traditional RPG, like an action hack and slash RPG. I'm fully immersed in this game with the controller and just how it perfectly interfaces with it, and it absolutely blew me away. So I'm sorry I had to gush on that for a little bit, but I just wanted to let you guys know, if you're going to play this game on Android and you're going to use a controller, or if eventually you do play it on iOS when it comes to there, then you're not going to have a problem. Of course, PC players, we already are going to have controller support as it is, but yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome on controller, especially on Android. Now, controller preferences aside, or touchscreen preferences aside, let's go ahead and talk about the audio. The soundtrack is a mix of lo-fi, hip-hop, jazz, and techno, which sets the game apart from other miHoYo titles. And everything that I heard was absolutely amazing. Can I also just stop for a minute and talk about how good the voice acting is in this? Like, the voice actors, I know, MiHoYo titles already have phenomenal voice acting. I mean, one of my friends is in one of the MiHoYo titles with Genshin Impact, being Griffin Byrne, who voices Child. Yes, he's a friend of mine. Go check out the podcast I did with him about a couple years ago. But, you know, the voice acting, the voice cast that they have for all of these characters is just absolutely stunning. And so if you're anything like me, a lot of times when you're watching modern dub for games or anime, a lot of times it pulls you out of it because it comes off like somebody who's just reading a script. Whereas in this and the other MiHoYo titles, every time I'm hearing one of the voice actors voice these characters, I'm actually believing it's the character themselves. That's how good the voice acting is. At least to me. I know there's people who personally prefer sub over dub, but me, I personally like the English dub. So, and I'm not biased because most of my friends are probably in this game, but I'm just saying, like, I like dub. Plus, when you have a toddler running around, you don't really have a lot of time to read. You just want to hear it. So, yeah. So aside from all that, you're probably wondering, okay, what about the gotcha elements? And look, let's go ahead and talk about that. While I've been playing the beta, there wasn't a cash job, but the resource acquisition rate, it did feel balanced. There were daily energy limits for both side and main missions, which might slow down gameplay if you do progress too quickly. Now, the unlock rates for characters seems fair, and most of the roster is accessible early on. Though this may change with the full release, and I'm not really too certain if it will or won't, but, you know, from what I've played so far, this is just the impression that I'm getting personally. Now, the TLDR of this whole thing, if you don't have the time to watch this full video, or you just want to get in and get out, get the information you need and go, is that Zenless Zone Zero is another stellar outing from MiHoYo, and I'm eager to see the complete game. The combat system is incredibly impressive. The fact that it has full controller support is chef's kiss for me, and the overall vibe of the game is fantastic. Now, I will say I did run into a couple instances with the beta where it kept crashing on my Razer Edge tablet. I don't know, maybe it was just the Razer Edge, I don't know, because one of the things that I was doing at the same time of playing the game was using screen record to capture gameplay footage, because for whatever reason my capture card on my computer just wasn't pulling from the tablet like it normally does. So I don't know. That's just what I experienced. Of course, given that this is a beta, all that's going to be ironed out in the final release, so you, the player, don't have to worry about that. And honestly, the last thing I want to touch on is just the overall vibe of the game. This is absolutely fantastic. So with that being said, if you're curious about more updates on Zenless Zone Zero and other MiHoYo titles, stay tuned for more updates right here on this channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, like the video, sub, and all the other stuff. I know I already said sub, but you know what I mean. All the traditional YouTube jargon that I got to say for y'all to come in, do all that stuff when you're in as the viewer. Make sure you do all that. And again, I want to thank MiHoYo for giving me the opportunity to cover the closed beta. And if you're interested in checking out the beta, then make sure you pre-register using the link in the description down below, or using the link that will be pinned in the first comment of this video. So all that being said, what do you guys think? What do you think of the footage that you've seen? What do you think of the gameplay? Were you able to join the closed beta? Whatever your thoughts are, let's go ahead and get the conversation going in the comment section down below. And all that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Aloha and a hui ho, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.